I couldn't talk about evil for a long time, and I will admit that I still feel uncomfortable talking about it, thinking about it. And I also know that it's important. And there's something that I really feel on my heart to say today for anyone who is willing to engage in this conversation. I'd like to share a little bit of my perspective of how evil operates and hopefully illuminate something that will make a difference for you. Um, First, I think that my being able to look at and actually grapple with evil and the idea of the reality of good versus evil really began with me looking at and being honest with myself about the threads of evil that I have seen in my own life and my own relationships and my own thoughts. And I think that I was in denial about that for a long time. But the thing about it is that if I continued to stay in denial about those things, they would just continue to operate. They would just continue to run the show. So the moments of my life where I have acted in a way that I know was manipulative, that I know was laced with a desire to hurt somebody. It's me getting honest about that has me actually be able to reach a place of forgiveness for myself and for that other people have had their hearts snatched in some way, to a small degree or to a very large degree, by evil. So when we think about groups of people and the idea of entire groups of people being evil, and you can see and imagine that if you're someone who pays attention to news, to current events, to what's happening in the world today, you see this, that there are people who cast entire groups of people as evil. So I'd actually like to illustrate something. There are Christians who are good people, contributing people, people of service. There are people who call themselves Christians who commit evil acts and who take advantage of people. There are Muslims who are devout, love God, devoted, are in service to their families and to their dreams and visions in this lifetime. And there are Muslims who commit atrocious acts. There are Jews who have beautiful hearts and hearts for service and who are contributing citizens of the world. And there are Jews who do really evil things. There are Republicans who care about their country, their nation, who care about their community, their family, who are good people, who contribute to the world, to the well-being of the people in their communities. And there are Republicans who have evil in their hearts. There are Democrats who care very deeply about this country, about the world, about contributing in a positive way to this culture, to the United States. There are Democrats who have no interest but to serve their own selfishness. There are men who are doing beautiful, incredible things in this world, innovating and taking care of their families and their people and their women and their partners and their children, and who are incredible contributions to society. And there are men who do horrendous, awful things in this world. There are women who are good women, who are caring, kind, beautiful hearted women, taking care of their families, their friends, themselves, serving in whatever way that they can in their workplaces and in their communities and in their homes. And there are women who do horrible, atrocious, evil things. There are trans people who are living their lives in service to other people, caring for others, doing the best that they possibly can in their corner of the world to be good people. And there are trans people who are run by evil. There are people who work for the government at all levels who are public servants, who are truly there to serve, to be positive contributing influence in their country. There are people who work at all levels of the government who don't have the interests of people in mind and who do horrible things. The same thing is true of people who work in the corporate world. The same thing is true of people who work in the nonprofit world. The same thing is true of people who are blue-collar workers. The same thing is true of school teachers. The same thing is true of artists and celebrities and people in in Hollywood, people who have made their way in this world and have their name is known. Authors, actors, singers, musicians, DJs, writers, podcasters, YouTubers, you name it. Why am I driving this point home? Because any group of people, any and all groups of people, are made up of individuals who exist on a spectrum, whose hearts, you could say, exist on this spectrum between good and evil. We each have a choice in who we be, in how we be, in how we see. One of the ways that evil gets to continue to operate is that it convinces us that entire groups of people are evil. And that's the group of people that we have to go after. And that's the group of people that we have to silence, cancel, eliminate. At the least extreme end of the spectrum, these are the people that we don't want to have airtime. These are the people that should be, you know, this shouldn't be spoken about or shouldn't be given a platform or whatever it is. Like there's a spectrum, right? To these people should be eliminated. They don't deserve life. They don't deserve to live. Part of the reason why I'm sharing this is because I want to empower people to want to empower you, if this resonates with your soul, to consider that one of the most powerful ways we can combat evil is first noticing when and where it operates in us, and then being willing to speak to the evil that exists inside of the groups of which we are a part. So for men to call out the evil of other men, to reflect on the evil that exists within themselves, right? For women to speak into the evil that has captured the hearts of other women, and to be willing to look at where is there evil in me and what can I do to continue to bring that into consciousness and to continue to transform that. I have felt more equipped myself to have this conversation about good and evil and to be able to look at it through my relationship with God, through having a personal relationship with God, where I can bring these questions and these inquiries first to Him. And I just think that it's so important that we be willing to be aware of how evil operates in the world and to know that it does not have the final say. Evil does not and will never have the final say. And it is all hands on deck in creating a world, creating an inner landscape that is reflected in the outer landscape that is one of goodness, that is one of grace. This is why in my In my years and years of exploring personal development and stepping into my spiritual path, and then now really coming into a relationship with God and Christ, and just the whole new world that's opened up for me. I just, in all of my explorations, all the deepening into the feminine, the deep feminine path, and really like restoring my own feminine nature, like bringing her deeply online, and being in full approval of my womanness, of my femaleness. All of these journeys, my creative journeys, things that I have explored artistically, the common thread in all of it is me taking responsibility for my life, me taking responsibility for my perception, me taking responsibility for what I give my attention to and who, me taking responsibility for my choices, for my relationships, for the choices I make in which relationships to have in my life, for what I do in this lifetime, for how I serve in this lifetime, taking responsibility for all of it. Our power begins here. And I know how easy it can be to project out that other people are the problem. It takes something. It takes something to come from right here first. What's happening here in my sight, in my thoughts, in my words, in my reactions, in my choices. So, I think that there are very few people actually on the planet that have been completely overtaken by evil. I think there's very, very few, actually. I think that the vast majority of humanity exists on a spectrum, and we are mostly good. And for those who have, find themselves on the spectrum of committing atrocious acts, of thinking evil thoughts about the world, about other people, and committing evil actions in this life, I'd be willing to bet that all of those people had evil things done to them. I don't want to ever stand in this posture of having all the answers. I don't. I don't. And as I would advise people with any anyone in their lives, anyone in your life who is a teacher, a guide, a way shower. It's like, find who really resonates with your soul, or take what resonates with your soul and leave the rest, right? But if there is one thing that I can impart to people, it is you are responsible. Be willing to be responsible. Be willing to be a responsible human, responsible person, responsible for your life. As I said, for your sight, for your perspective, for your words, your choices, your actions, your relationships. When we begin there, and more people, and I see this happening all over, it will continue to happen. But as more and more people take that level of radical responsibility, then we actually get to move this world. We get to create space for miracles, create space for inexplicable beauty and innovation, and people banding together to actually impact, on the deepest levels, the hearts of those who have been taken by evil. I don't know what it's all going to look like. I don't know. And I do know that there are so many people in the world who are doing so much good in their individual relationships, in their families, communities, in their organizations, in their government. There is so much good. So I suppose really wanted to share this, just remind people, remind you, this matters to you. To continue to consider how we see each other matters. How we see each other matters. It is literally made matter. It is literally made manifest in the world. And we can acknowledge evil exists, and we can speak into the best of a group of people, the best of an individual. We get to see and experience more of that. So that is my invitation, should you choose to accept it. Thank you for listening, and let me know if there's any thoughts that arose for you in watching this. Sending you so much love.